I got a phone call a few years ago. Said Bonneville is where you need to be. So I packed it up and I headed west just to see what there was to see. Oh, by the speed bug I got bit. Now I just can't quit. I got the Salt Flats fever. Scream and scream, liners down to motor scooters and every motorcycle in between. 5 full days of two-wheeled land speed racing, well, that's what there was to be seen. By the speed bug I got bit, now I just can't quit. I got the Salt Flats fever. Alcohol or a turbocharger helps some motorcycles down the line. After a week I watched it all.
And his buddy had taken it down, what, 168 miles an hour on a V-Rod, which I thought both of you were pretty crazy to be out there riding a V-Rod. I mean, V-Rods are capable of 200 miles an hour. And he goes, well, I haven't ridden in a while, I was going to ride the V-Rod. So anyway, he gets out on the line. His buddy he's not helping him. He's back in the truck, listening to radio or something. So this guy's putting everybody to work. He goes, hey, you, come here. He goes, sit on this bike for a minute, and how do you say no to this gentleman, right? So they sit on his bike, and he's standing there talking to him, stretching, but they go, God, I got to get back to my bike. You know? No, you remember?
Sure, I was getting so tired because you got to balance it, and we took the kickstand clear off, and you can't lean it over, see, and you got to keep sitting on it. My legs getting tired because we're waiting, and well, what was it, 30 minutes?
He just retains these human kickstands at his desire. That's how he works.
And I was 14 years old when I rode my first motorcycle. And that all come about, my brother saw an ad in the paper that there was a Harley for sale over in the next town, and for $35. So he had saved up $35 on a farm, which was a real chore, and he went over and bought that motorcycle. And he brought it home, and my dad wouldn't let him ride it because nobody could get insurance on it. But he finally relinquished that to ride it. Then when my brother would take off on his car to go out with his girlfriend, I'd sneak his Harley out, and he couldn't take the key out because there wasn't no ignition switch on it. And I'd ride around the gravel roads with it, you know. He went into service, and I inherited that old 30 Harley, you know. Well, I was in heaven. I had a 39 Willys Overland, which was a little old car, and I had a motorcycle. And I was a junior in high school. Boy, I was the king of the heap, I'll tell you that. I went in the Army, and I was back in the paratrooper, and I saved all my money. And I went down to Dallas, Texas to school. And I was going down there to aircraft mechanic school. And I went in the Harley dealership and bought a brand new Harley 1948 Panhead. I had this 49 Harley, and I'd come in. I'd done some drag racing down in Texas, but mostly we road raced down there. And I belonged to a motorcycle club, and every Friday night we had a meeting, and we had a run. We had a hare and hound run or something, you know, right through the streets of Dallas, you know. There was a real bunch of guys down there in Dallas. But anyway, I came home with that 49 Harley, and then by that time, the drag strip opened up in north of Chicago, in a little old town called Half a Day. That was a half a day from Chicago to Milwaukee. And the guy that run that opened it up with Andy Granatelli of STP friend. Yeah, he was a native of Chicago. But anyway, so I had this 49 Harley, and I had the compression raised, big pistons and so forth, and different cam in it. So I went up there and raced, you know, the first year. And anyway, and I won a few trophies, and I probably lost more than I won, but the old 49 run pretty good. And there was a guy I run against, and the guy's name was Smith, George Smith, the starter of S&S Motors. I suppose you've heard of S&S Motors. Anyway, but he raced that 1 year, and then he had so much guys that wanted, he was making cylinders out of a solid piece of steel. When you run nitro, then they'd stay on where the Harley cylinders would blow off. But anyway, he never raced after that. So I thought, well, I'm going to build an 80 Harley, because a lot of the guys in the 80s was really going good, see? And I thought, well, I still would just be running with the other guys with the 80s, so I'll put 2 80s in my motorcycle. And I had them there, though. I never got beat with that thing. I had some trouble with the teething. Well, I never had any trouble with the engine, but trouble with the chain between the 2 engines. I had some trouble with that, but finally got that figured out. And anyway, and then the last race of the day was always the top bike against the top motorcycle. And the big 2-engine Harley never was beat. and I run against all the dragsters, all the hot rods, and all the motorcycles. In the final run, then I turned 129.87, and I beat all the dragsters and everything by 6 miles an hour. And I got the trophy, 3-foot trophy, and Andy Granatelli handed me the trophy, and it says right on it, 129.87 track record, Merrimont Speedway. Yep. Anyway. Heard about Bonneville. I said, well, I'm going to change the gearing on that thing, and the bike and everything was still running great, and I had all the bugs out, see, the dragster. So I'm going to just change the gearing out there. So I get my old high school slide rule out, and I figure out I probably got 160 horsepower, and if I'm going, and I need a ratio of about 2.6 to 1. Figured all this out, see, and I couldn't get countershaft sprockets to make that gear ratio, see. So anyway, I traded to Harley Davidson, and they never heard of such a thing. So I thought, well, that's just 1/8 inch plate steel, and that chain's a 3/8 pitch. That's a 3/8 bit. So I knew the circumference I needed. So I just drilled holes in that thing, cleaned it up with a rat tail file, and I run 147.2 out here at Bonneville with that. And that's the year I broke Raleigh Free's record. And there was a big sign out here when you come in, and it said Raleigh Free, San Jose, California, world record holder. 156.2, and I've got the plaque from Southern California Timing Association, 157.2. I beat his record by 1 mile an hour. 1955. See, and the thing started to shimmy a little bit, and I got on the brake, and that didn't help. And the old Harleys used to, if they shimmied, and that was standard, a lot of them shimmied, you know, and you just turn them on. And I did the V-rod. I turned her on to full throttle, and next thing it was going lock to lock, just like that. And I knew, you know, there's no way of saving it. And before I could even think, I was down, sliding. And I'm sliding on my stomach, and I'm sliding and sliding. And I keep my arms out, my legs out, you know, and the bike's sliding up here, and I think, you know, you always got a horror when you're running at the Bonneville that someday you may fall off. Anyway, but there I am sliding. I said, well, it's finally happened. I thought, well, this ain't bad at all, you know. This could be fun if you didn't hit nothing, which there's nothing out there to hit. And I slow up a little bit and stop, you know. I said, well, I got up. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with me.
And remember, you were only 79.
Yeah, I was 79. I got the farthest slide anybody ever recorded, over 500 feet. I slid on my stomach. The guys picked up the pieces and stuff, and they said, well, you slid way over 500 feet. I didn't plan that either. To be out here at the Salt when this time comes. I really do.
At 91?
Yep. I expect to live to be 100, because I'm 81, and I don't take any medications, and I feel so good. I can still work on a car or stuff till noon. And after noon, I'm pretty good yet till noon, but I ride a bicycle 10 miles about every morning. I expect to be here 10 years from now, hopefully.
If you could sum it up, what has Bonneville meant to you? I mean, what is the Bonneville experience?
It still astounds me, the expanse and so forth, and the distance and so forth, you know, it still just astounds me. And I just look forward from one year to the next coming back to Bonneville, you know. It's just something that's what they call salt fever, you know. I suppose you've heard that term, you know. And there's another term they have, nobody comes to the Salt Flats once.
Alcohol or a turbocharger helps the motorcycles down the line. After a week of watching all these bikes, I'm here to say the Bubs of Van is fine, fine, fine. Well, I don't know if I can wait a year. Come next September, I hope to be back here, watching all the bikes and meeting all the folks, hanging down at the bar and hearing some lousy jokes. By the speed bug I got bit, now I just can't quit. I got the Salt Flats fever. They're on course, they're past the 3. They're getting faster, just look and see. Tucked down low and riding with a smile, screaming on through the famous measured mile. Well, by the speed bug I got bit, now I just can't quit, 'cause I got the Salt Flats fever right here at